Another Diane Keaton movie means more unflattering clothing and hats to look at, but this one also gives us Kathy Bates, Alfre Woodard, Eugene Levy, Beverly D'Angelo, a lot of other people to distract us from the hideous outfits of Diane Keaton. Let's talk about summer camp. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my movie review for the new film Summer Camp. This is in theaters right now and will be available soon on demand. It features a big cast of people that you will recognize, certainly. But there's some younger stars here as well that you might know. Josh Peck, Nicole Richie, and actually somebody who has a supporting role on the TV show Ghosts, Betsy Sidaro, or Sidero. You will definitely know her if you watch that show Ghosts. Dennis Haysbert is in this as well. So there's a lot of people that you will recognize. Before we launch into the specifics of this movie, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We do movie and TV reviews on the channel, and just about every day I post something new, so there's always a lot to check out. And with that in mind, please consider subscribing, click that like button, or comment below. All that stuff, of course, helps the channel out, and I certainly do appreciate it. So with this film, we have Nora, Ginny, and Mary, played by Keaton, Bates, and Woodard, respectively, and they grew up together in this summer camp. They went there every year for 8 weeks of the summer and just, fell in love with each other as best friends and carried that on through the years. However, as they've aged, obviously, life happens, life gets in the way, and their opportunities to spend time together become less and less. So the chance for a nice reunion presents itself with the camp's 50th anniversary reunion or whatever. And so the trio get back together and see how their lives have changed over the years. So Kathy Bates' character, Ginny, she has become this famous self-help guru. She has a successful, book series. And then Mary, the Alfre Woodard character, became a nurse and is in this loveless marriage. And then we have the Diane Keaton character, Nora. She was married, but she is now a widow of about 15 years. And she's thrown herself into her work. She's some kind of scientist or physicist or something. I'm not sure if it's ever quite fully explained in the movie, but it's kind of irrelevant. But anyway, the three, come back together and face off against their old nemesis, one of which is played by Beverly D'Angelo, and we meet some of the new camp counselors, and it goes from there. So look, Diane Keaton keeps releasing these movies where she just basically plays herself. Even in Mac and Rita a couple of years ago, which was a body swap movie, she still essentially played herself, but as a high school version of herself. She was still doing the neurotic Diane Keaton things. I've made no secret of the fact that I think Diane Keaton cannot act anymore. If she ever was able to, it was long ago. And yes, I've seen Annie Hall and, some of the classics, The Godfather 2, but I don't find her appealing in any of her recent movies. She's been doing the same character from the Nancy Meyers film, Something's Gotta Give, for the last 20 years in all of her movies. And they're all Diane Keaton, and they're all with horrible fashion sense. So there's not much, changed here about her character. So the focus of this movie really should be on some of the other characters, and I think that is a better way to look at this movie. In fact, Keaton has been in a couple of movies just in the last 2 years that I've given Fs to. Mac and Rita is one of them, and there was one that came out early last year called Because I Do, or no, Maybe I Do, and I gave that one an F as well. Never really impressed with her recent movies. However, this one is not an F. It's slightly higher than that. I will say it's not a positive grade, but it is definitely a little bit more middling than those other couple of movies I've mentioned and many of the ones she's had recently. And I think a strong part of that is the rest of this cast. Eugene Levy has a couple of really great scenes with the Diane Keaton character mostly, but you forget, what a great actor he actually is. You think of him as the funny man, American Pie and Schitt's Creek and all of that, and the old SCTV stuff. But Eugene Levy can actually act. He can certainly carry emotion, and that was on display in this movie, so I liked that. And, the first hour of this movie is your typical sort of, senior citizens go wild type of movie. Because they're at this camp, they're doing all these crazy things that, people in their 70s aren't supposed to be doing X, Y, or Z. Let's show them doing it. I will give this movie credit that nobody gets high. That is a tired trope. The old woman or old man getting high. I often lament about how lazy that is in movies like this. We didn't see that here, so all right, credit where credit's due for that. But the camaraderie between the three women and their story, which doesn't really take off for a while. The first hour of the movie really is very, very standard stuff. A lot of comedy coming from the pratfalls and, an old person's not supposed to be doing that. And that's supposed to be the laugh. And Diane Keaton, being herself, always annoying. However, then the last half hour, 40 minutes, this movie actually switches gears a little bit. And it's more about the three women and their friendship and their issues with each other and issues with their current lives and all of that. That stuff was really interesting. Maybe not quite as funny, although certainly a few laughs. There's a food fight scene that, okay, although standard for a camp movie, we don't usually see senior citizens going to camp. So that's a little bit of a fresh take, I guess, if you want to say that. And that was a fun scene to watch. I'm sure it was fun to film as well. So look, the comedy here is a bit all over the place. This is one of those movies where you really have to sort of suspend any sort of disbelief, because it's just this is just silliness, for silliness' sake, and for the select audience that can't get enough Diane Keaton movies. This maybe will scratch an itch. For me, it was really, really routine for the first 2/3, and then it actually, once it turned, I was like, okay, now I'm on board with this. I don't know that I was ever going to necessarily give it an F. I don't think it ever is quite that bad, but definitely routine, if nothing else. So look, at the end of the day, like I said, I will leave this with a negative grade. It's still a negative, but definitely better than a lot of the recent Diane Keaton output. I will leave Summer Camp with a C-. And you can see that still in theaters now, but it will be coming to on demand very, very soon as well. All right, thank you for watching Dan Reviews It, and I'll see you next time. Bye.